You know what's really great is hitting upload on a video. Nothing better than it. You know what's not so great? Realizing that you filmed the footage for that video 3 months ago. And that, folks, is kind of where we're at. I just recently published a notes to self / behind the scenes book tag. And in that, I covered a variety of just like bits and bobs, the more mechanical stuff. So I thought for May, because it is June 7th as I'm filming this. See, look at this, moving along, just chugging. I would go over some of the things that I've been doing systemically, the things that aren't as flashy, and walk you through some of the ways I'm trying to take a more systematic, longitudinal approach to my channel, continuing to keep my pace going. So I'm Nick. This is DrCrankyPantsReads, and I'm still in New York, but we're talking about YouTube today. So let's talk and dig into all things structural. Not all things, but a good portion of things. Some interesting things, maybe. Anyway, Nick, go to the logo. So yeah, I am still not resetting, but trying to figure out some different ways to do some different stuff. I thought it would be helpful, maybe, if not for anyone else, just helpful for me to think through some of the systems that I'm working on right now. Oh, birds, so many birds. As I am trying to figure out how to get back into regular, consistent YouTubing as I'm just dealing with stuff. Just stuff. It's fine. It's all fine. All of it's good. All of it's good. One of the things that I've been doing is really trying to think about systems. And in my reflecting on what's worked really well for me in the past, and granted, my past is not that long. I've only been doing this since September. So what are we even? Oh yeah, I guess we are over 6 months. So really thinking about what has worked well for me in the past and which of those systems have I not kept up with. What's been interesting is as I've grown, as my skill abilities have grown, as my subscriber count has grown, I have not kept up with some of the systems that made me fairly productive to begin with. I'm setting myself up to get back into some of those systems and make them continue to work for me. I think without that kind of planning, and if I look back at my other notes to self, I've talked about how I didn't plan my shorts out. Well, guess what I'm really bad at right now are shorts. I don't plan them out as well as I used to. So we're going to talk about that a little bit because I think I've lost a sense of scope. I've lost a macro and a micro. I'm getting back to that. I think my brain just got too big, too fast, and we're slowing down. Here's what I've done. I've got a ton of videos in Backlog, and they're videos from as far back as March. So I really need to get them moving. I need to get stuff done. I'm going to be editing and posting videos that I filmed a while ago. They're still relevant. They're still good. But really focusing on getting that done before I film anything new. Well, that's a lie. I'm trying to be thoughtful about process and where things are. I wish I were a little more like Alan, but I am not. I lack his brevity. He has some massive brevity about him that I admire and appreciate, I just gab. Like, if you saw half of what I edited out of these videos, you'd be like, what is going on with that man? I've kind of done some thinking around, in terms of long form, how much time commitment things take. I've been kvetching about that for a while now. And so one of the things that I did while I was in the city earlier this week was I took a morning and I sat in a Starbucks on Murray Hill and actually did some planning and some laying out of some parameters to help me understand my workflow. I broke up long form into those kinds of videos that are really, really intense in terms of setup. So whether they're a video that I have to get or find or locate some props for, or I need to do a lot of writing for, I need to do a lot of setup for, to those videos that are a little bit more editing heavy, and really looked at some of the workflows from my past and have figured out some of that work, some of that kind of time expectation. And so that's been helpful. I now have a better idea of like which kinds of videos are going to be a light load, a light lift in the planning and the filming, and then a slightly heavier load as I'm editing, and which ones are going to be light in both areas, which ones are going to be heavy in both areas, which has allowed me to plan a little bit differently in terms of when I get back into Nebraska, into my life. I'm going to have a better idea, I think, of what time I have and what is useful. So that's a thing, because one of the biggest challenges that I've faced in the last couple of months is just being overwhelmed by ideas, overwhelmed by all of the things that I want to do. And so now I'm trying to like pull those things together. I'm trying to actually do them instead of just collecting them. I have all of this like backlog footage for videos, and I just need to edit it. I need to get it edited. So that's where we're at. That's what we're doing. And it feels good. It feels good. I also started building some tools for myself, things that I've been trying to work on and just haven't had the time or the space or the bandwidth really to do it. I've been capturing stuff on Post-it notes and in my bullet journal, et cetera, et cetera. So let's talk through Microsoft Loop, because not sponsored. None of this is sponsored. That has been a useful tool to play with. I don't know that I love it yet in terms of getting it to do what I need it to do, but I think it's going to be helpful. It's helpful for some other projects that I'm working on. I'm going to see how it is for organizing stuff in YouTube. I've done a couple of different things. So here's what I've done with Loop. And Loop is essentially just a Microsoft project management software that does a couple of things for me. Previously, I did a lot of Google Docs, and the Google Docs weren't connected to one another, and that worked fairly well in the beginning, but it's not as great these days, simply because I find myself having to ideate, film, and edit multiple productions at different times. Productions, listen to me talk, like, that's something. Oy, that's funny. So I've used Loop for a couple of different projects and wanted to see how it would work with YouTube. So this is my first step here. It's not completely built out, but it gives you a sense of where I'm at. I've got within my Loop long form and short form. And the biggest thing that I have personally been really, really happy with is my tag tracker, which you look at this and you go, Nick, there's nothing there. But if I extend this, this is every tag that up to about 4 or 5 days ago, I have been tagged in. I've included the prompts, I've included who's tagged me, and their videos are there. So this is going to be very, very helpful in terms of getting inspired to figure out what to do with these tags. Because I have them all here now, and they're all kind of organized, which is going to be really, really helpful. And then I'll have stuff for other long forms. I need to get a lot of that moved over from my Apple Notes on my phone, which I'm going to start using a little bit differently for just my regular life, and move as much of the YouTube stuff here to Loop as possible. The other thing that I'm excited about, so with shorts, I've got buckets. These are typically the kinds of shorts that I make, and then I've got some limited series that I've been working on. But I'm most excited about this spreadsheet, where it's also not completed. What I'm trying to get done is have an actual schedule. Shorts has been tricky to get back into, partially because there's so many of them. If you post one a month or one a day, that's 30 shorts in the course of a month on average. And I had never gotten back to an actual planner. So within this planner, I've got a content bucket that my work is falling into. I've got the date that I want it to launch, what the kind of title and description of it, and then status of if it's filmed, or am I ideating, waiting for materials, and then when do I publish it? And then I'll link to the asset within my hard drive, and then to the published post when it's done. When I was doing, was it December? It might have been December. It was December or November, where I was doing 2 shorts a day. And this is the tool that I used to help keep me moving. And so I think shorts, when I'm thinking about this break, and or this like pseudo break, this like recalibration, it's not really a break, but this recalibration, working on other projects, et cetera, one of the things that this has made me realize is I have abandoned some of those structures that worked really well for me in the beginning. And so I'm trying to get back to them with things like this loop. There's something else that I am adopting that I think is going to be helpful. So let me share that with you. I actually bought a planner, a paper planner. Previously, I've run all of the YouTube stuff off of my digital planner, and that just hasn't been working. I've also been trying to get it to work in my bullet journal, but there's just too much stuff in my bullet journal. And so I needed, I think, a dedicated planner to help me get things figured out. I bought this planner at Muji. It's blank. I just filled it in, and I've been using it to get some planning done, and that's been helpful. There's still some pages that are blank, but the thing that I really liked about this was in the back, there are some blank pages that I can use to get additional planning done. It was a small investment. I think this little planner was, I don't know, $2.50, maybe $3. I think that's going to help with really thinking through what can I actually do, because I feel like some of that was getting lost in just the digital planning. Hopefully this will help. I don't know if it will or not. I don't know if it will, but it seemed like for $2, I could invest that and see what was going on with it. I think my goals for June have pretty much been to work through some of the stuff that I've already banked. And I've been able to do that. The attention video was something that I've had in my queue for a really long time. I'm going to spend the rest of the month just building up shorts once I get back to Nebraska, which will be soon. This is my last night in New York City. I'm back from upstate. I hope this is helpful. I don't know if it has been, but it's for anyone else. But it has been really helpful for me to think through and about some of these systems that I'm going to be using moving forward. There are systems that I've used in the past, and now it's going to be interesting to see how they play out. That said, it was a little bit of a weird month. I think that in terms of like subscriber counts and whatnot, my watch hour ratio has actually gone up, and I've had some fluctuations in viewers, which has been interesting. It's recently been on like I'll lose a subscriber here and I'll lose a subscriber there. Not necessarily gaining, but not gaining. Not gaining. Still net gain. I think I'm at 556 today. I was at 558 over the weekend. So people are subscribing and then unsubscribing, and that's okay. That's okay. That's just kind of where we are. That about wraps up my notes to myself for the month of May, but it's June. So what are some of the things that you do to help organize your YouTube channel? What are some of the things that help you keep it all together? Or do you fly by the seat of your pants and just do whatever? Because if you do, I'm jealous. I am not wired that way. I kind of wish I were. But I have a plan, which is a nice feeling moving forward. I think previously I just went too big too quickly and didn't have time to actually like strategize. And so taking this step back has provided some much needed space to do that. Hopefully this means I can come back with better quality moving forward. So we'll see how that goes. But I have to go pack. No, that's a lie. I'm going to do one more quick video segment because I did a book hunt while I was here in New York City. It turned out pretty okay, actually. So be looking for that video towards the end of the month to see what kinds of things I have been searching for a really long time and managed to pick up this trip. But that's later. And as always, I appreciate you, and I hope life is good, and you'll see me once more in this bunk. But I am, as much as I love the city, I am ready to not be in a bunk bed. Totally ready to not be in a bunk bed. So, yeah, see you in the next one.